This is a meeting about nothing. It's nothing, and it's apparently everything. When I heard it for the first time, I was like, yeah, duh, what a strange way of talking, and I don't understand, and what is this, and do a bit more concrete and things like that. And the funny thing is, it's so concrete. It's so, life is very concrete when there's no me, which is already the case, of course. Life is very simple, very ordinary, very concrete, and very easy. The difficulty with this kind of meetings, it's impossible to tell how it is. When there are two things, when there's just a story, there's an experience, and you can tell about yourself, how the experience what was felt, what was the memories with that, or maybe the experience or the feelings were happening, and there's a little story then. When there's no me going on, the story is also not there. And what's happening is it's always changing, it's always new. So there can't be talking about that. It's already new, it's already different. And it doesn't need to talk. Some people are asking, why do you talk about this? It's already everything. I don't know. It's just happening. It's not Roes thinking, oh, I want to talk about this and we are going to do this and then it will happen. There is no free will. There is no really happening. Nothing is real. Everything is only apparently real, and it's just life happening, apparently. It's very strange when you're so used to normal way of living, that you are there in your body, the body is yours, the thoughts are yours. You think with the thoughts, I can make things happen. A lot of thoughts have a certain meaning, so maybe that this is important and that's not important, so we can make things work, or maybe I didn't do enough, so there will be another thing going on. So reading books about what's the best way of living. And it's very convincing that it's not even, most people don't see it as convincing. It's very normal that you have a free will, there's a choice, you are there, there's a whole world, there's an outside world like boundaries, and inside in the body, everything is solid. It seems to feel solid. So then it's very strange to hear somebody saying nothing is real, nothing is solid, everything is only apparently real, it's only a mirage. Nothing is important, so then nothing is important. There's no time, there's no before, there's no after, so no inside, there's no outside. And it's not that there's nothing going on, there's still seeing hands, but that's it. It's just seeing hands. There's no reason, there's no purpose, there's no meaning of seeing hands or doing these meetings. It's just talking. And it's not trying to make somebody believe this or this is the truth. This is not the truth. This is just saying what is seen, describing what is seen, but it's not seen by the eyes. It's just what is seen, you could say. Trying to talk about it, talk about what it's. There's so many assuming, so many concepts about what is going on. it's very quickly already something else. When there's pain, there's very quickly looking for what's the cause of this pain, or what can I do, or something like that. And there's just pain somewhere, and it's pain and it's not. So it's both. And it's very simple, very literally, and it's without any meaning. Life has no meaning. It's just a tree, maybe a tree or a cup. It's just that. And the funny thing is, when there's nothing going on about wanting to change it or trying to name it or trying to do something with it, and suddenly it's just free. It's already free. And at the same time, it's seen, oh, it was already free. It never has been a prison. It has always been free because it's everything. It's everything. And that everything can seem to be a prison, can feel like can be a contraction. Then there's a contraction. But contraction is even a word that seems like not nice, something like that. And even that, it's just some sensation somewhere, not even in the body, because the body isn't there. It's only an appearance. So it's somewhere. Maybe you don't know where. That doesn't matter. Doesn't need to know. When there's pain, there can be going to the doctor or not, or taking a pill. And when there's someone in the story, there's always things like there's time. So this is the cause of that. There's no cause and there's no effect. There's only this. That's also, maybe it's strange to so cause and effect and trying to do the right thing and looking for the cause, or trying to have an insight, or trying to do the best, the good things, what seems to be good for you. It's always about you. It's always about somebody in that body here that is trying to make that life, what seems to be there, better or happier or healthier. There can be a lot of things going on about that. That's the dream. It seems very important and very meaningful. And in the same time, life is just going, just doing anything, happening in any way. It has nothing to do with seemingly decisions or thoughts happening. It's just life, can be anything. And it's already life happening. So there is no one. There's not only Rose and she is no one, something like that. There's no Rose. There's seen a face here. That's it. And what the brain can do, or seems that the brain is doing that, is making assumptions like, oh, there's Rose and she has no me, and how is that happening, or what she's doing with that. There's no Rose. There's no my life. There never has been my life. That was the misunderstanding. That is the misunderstanding. It's just moving hands. It's very tiny. There's no life of Rose or life of anyone. There's just moving a hand. That's it. There's nobody inside. There is no inside. It's just empty. So it's just going. It's very easy. No need to decide anything. And when there's asking, do you want tea? There's coming an answer. Some words are coming, or not, maybe not. You don't know. So it's also not knowing. But there always was not knowing. So that's also not new. And it seems like, oh, there's no control. That's the freedom. But there never was control. That's the dream. And it seems very safe to have control. And the funny thing is, there isn't. It's like biking. I remember I was biking. I was holding it very tight, and I thought, oh, it's very important to feel that it's my way of biking. And then somebody said sometime, I don't know, like, oh, you don't need to hold it very tight. And I did, and I was like, oh, it's the same. So it's something like that. It's not knowing that this is like that. It's just, oh God, I couldn't, yeah, how obvious. But how can it be that there's also so many concepts around things? So that seems to be really the truth and so embodied. And sometimes concepts or beliefs are falling away. And then suddenly, oh, there's just something else going on. So when there are questions, please say something, or you can ask any question. There are no strange questions or wrong questions. It can be about anything. You don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on about that question. We will see. Ah, there's already one. That energy, what do resonate with the words from there? Does that energy dissolve the apparent person imagination? Or is it just chaos and there's nothing what is in action for it? Wow, that's too complicated. It's not dissolving, it's just there's always only what's happening, and that's already the case. So that's it. And it's everything. So it can be thoughts or thinking this has meaning or anything. It's everything. So it's chaotic and pain or walking or talking, or it's everything. What's going on? What you see, and it's an apparent life. But if you don't see that, if you see it as solid, then there's seen that it's solid. So that's it. Nothing is wrong. Nothing needs to dissolve to see this. It's a strange thing, but there's something going on, and there's talking in the story, and when there's talking in the story, there's always like something like a comparison or trying to understand or thinking, oh, maybe it's like this, making an image of it. You can't understand. You can't make an image of it. It's not a state, it's not a feeling. God. So there's no need for anything. It's just exactly what is happening. It's already complete. So what is going on? If there's moving the head, then there's moving the head in a silly way, then there's moving the head in the like that. That's everything. That's just everything. So no, it's just chaotic. And no reason for anything. But that's when you're in the story and thinking I have my life, and that seems so the normal way. Trying to understand, trying to find a reason. But if that's there, then that's there. And that's already what is. So nothing to look for. There can be an image of Roes or something like that. But that's just that image, and then there's something else, then there's drinking coffee. It's already there, it's everything. It's very simple.
Sorry, go ahead,
yeah.
go ahead. Hello,
no,
how are you?
I only wanted to say it's very simple, but maybe I say that so many times, so it doesn't matter.
No, it's okay. So whatever, let's say, scientists apparently discover, by the apparently own research, is actually just happening. It wouldn't make any difference who is doing it, because it's happening anyway. Is that it?
Yeah, it's just happening, but there's no then this, we are so used to the story, like in a movie, like this is happening and then this and then this and then this. And that seems like there was a before and there was an after. Because when there's a belief like that, you see it like that.
Right.
So if that,
yeah. Like science, I'm wondering about, I mean, I don't wonder, I understand what you're saying, but you know, these things come up. And so like a scientist, you know, would say, okay, I will research this thing and let's try this way, see if the result comes out and so on and so on. Yeah. So they have like a method for researching, but that method is actually not happening. No one is doing it.
No.
Right?
No, and it can be like, no, it's never done by someone, but it's the belief that there's someone, or the belief, embodied belief. Yeah, there's never someone. No, it's just life.
It's like there are different me's for different things. Apparently, like some me's will become scientists, apparently, and go into the research that is anyway happening naturally, and some others will become farmers or something like that.
It's like that's how it looks in the story. You can see it in the story, like, oh, there are some people doing this and some people doing that. There are no other people. There's only this. It's very small. There's no world. There's nothing going on about a world. That's the dream. That there's only this. What is seen? So it's very tiny. It's very simple. And we are so used to abstract and think, and we can think, oh, there's another world, and in that world there's happening. We see it in the news that somebody found this, and it's a whole story which seems very real, and we're talking about another story. And then it's just nothing. It's just a story. And we are believing it's real and it's really happening. There's no story. There's no outside world. And if I'm there, if I'm talking to friends, I'm just talking, we've been to Greece and it was very nice there. Of course, and you just talk like that. That's just talking, but that's without any meaning. It's just talking like that. So the brain still functions in that sense, but
even the brain does not exist either, right?
When there's walking in the rain, there's rain.
No, I mean the brain.
Or the brain? No, there's no brain. No. We're talking. That's a paradox. I'm talking about the brain that you can abstract from people. That's the story. Yeah, a little bit to explain, but no, there's no inside. There's just that face. That's everything. Nothing more. There's no Roes. There's no Rihanna. No. It's just face or moving. Strange.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the joy. Because when there's Roes, there's a life from Roes, and then there's a looking for a better life, or looking for something, or thinking about what is the best thing to do, or da 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 da. But the strange thing is, that's the whole dream that seems very real and very important, and like that it's happening because of I'm thinking that. It's just, things are just happening, and it's also an appearance. So nothing is real, it's solid. So this awful message in that sense. So there's nothing going on. There's not even Roes. There's not even that body is not real. What's left? No, nothing. And at the same time, there's apparently everything is going on, like dreaming and talking, and for no reason, but it's just life going on like that. That's the joy. For no reason. Wow. Like that. It's a strange message. Nothing is really serious. No. Nothing is really serious. God. And nothing is happening. No, nothing is happening. It's only apparently happening. So it's just energy. It's just energy that seems real, and it's thoughting, or life is thoughting, and that seems real, but it's in the same time it's not there. Yeah. It's very strange to hear when there's so much going on, like everything is real and solid, and you don't even think it's real or solid. It's just normal like that. And there's someone inside, and there's thoughts, and there's important to think about things or trying to understand. And then there's somebody saying, oh no, it's not really happening. God, that's can be a relief, but also can be a huge threat. Like, I'm not existing. Hello, I'm there. So yeah, some people are like that. It depends. It can be anything. But that's just life happening like that. It's not somebody doing that. There's nowhere somebody. There's no somebody. That's a concept. That's a misunderstanding. Like, oh, but it's so embodied and so strong. And some when there's about talking about scientists, there's some scientists that talking about, is there somebody there? Is there free will? They're questioning this. So this is the same. It's a suggestion like, oh, you can hear this, and I don't know what's happening there. What's going on? That's the freedom. Nothing is serious. It's because when there's somebody, everything seems to be serious because it's about you. Everything is about you, about what's going on, about health or relations or money. There's no one. It's just happening by itself. So what's going on? It's going on, apparently, also. So very easy. Not for me.
Hello, Rose.
Hello.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, like, you said there is no inside and there is no outside, that there is just this, right?
Yeah.
So when you, for example, cut your skin, let's say the blood comes out. Now, wouldn't that mean that blood was inside the, let's say, skin or the body or something like that?
No, it's just blood there. Yeah, I know when I'm talking about it and I'm going to the doctor and I'm talking in that story and say, oh, there's blood coming out and how it's can be like that. But there's just blood. But it's so normal that we think there's something inside, and everything is about that. So it's crazy to see it's just blood, and then there's something else, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't mean that you still sit there and you say, oh, there's just blood. No, it's just normal behavior, I should say. But when there's describing what's happening, then that's just blood. Or just, we call it blood, but when there's just, it's not even describing. Why should you describe what's going on? It can be there, but doesn't need to. Okay, another chat. Wait, it's a long one. Curiosity seems to be unique to the human, not only a self-preservation aspect, but a knowledge about how things work, a curiosity about functioning in an environment. Not a species seem to have any interest in understanding only the human. A certain self-importance seems to arise from gaining knowledge. Yeah. Whether there's a person or not, this impulse seems to continuously arise. Yeah, there can be interest in how things work, but doesn't have any meaning. Can be there, of course. It can be nice to know things, have information, look it up on the internet, or of course, why not? It's just information. Can be nice. Hmm. We are
But
so
that
used.
would,
Yeah.
sorry, that would be also a
But that-
story. Information, that is also a story.
Yeah, yeah, but that's not wrong. That's can
No,
be.
no. So it
It's
doesn't
just
mean that
information.
because
That could be nice.
we don't, I mean, I see my eye. So like, I believe this, I have an eye, and sorry,
Mhm.
the camera. So doesn't mean that I will change anything in this apparent life because I
Yeah.
now know these things. I just keep on living the life as it comes and do and making eventually
Yeah.
choices, you know,
Mhm.
whether it's going to be this or that.
Yeah.
That still goes
Yeah.
on, but no one is
Yeah.
there taking out those decisions. Is that it, right?
Yeah, and there can be a lot of information, but then there's information and then it's gone, or then there's you read it again, and it's
Yeah.
that what's happening. But there's no meaning or no importance. Most of the time, a lot of knowledge seems to be very important because that's helping with the survival things, and we are thinking about that. And nothing is important. It's just can be happening. It can be interest in anything, playing the violin or reading books or drinking coffee, doing nothing. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's everything. So that's the freedom.
Sorry, I interrupted you before.
No, it doesn't matter. Mm.
Hello, Rose.
Hello.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on addiction, as in addiction to sense perceptions like drugs or even entertainment or food, like is it the person that is addicted or is it the body that is addicted? How would you express it?
It's a story. There are no thoughts about that. It's when there's a lot of eating, then there's a lot of eating. So what? There's no one. The body isn't real. It's just energy. So, but it seems like the body is really important, and you have to take care of your body, and so it has to, and then a lot of things are going on there. I don't know when somebody comes to me and talks about that. I don't know what will be
But you
said.
do have to take care of your body, right? Or does that also
Nothing.
just happen?
Nothing, of course. There is no real body, so that's there. But in the same time, it's just happening. There's no one that thinks like, oh, this is better to do, so I don't eat sugar now because that's not going on. When I don't know, it's very normal. It's then thinking about how can I tell? It can sometimes there's a thinking, I want to eat chocolate, and then maybe there is stepping to the shop or not. I don't know. Maybe it's next next moment it's already forgotten or it's done. I don't know. I don't care. Then there's
So
eating chocolate.
don't you subscribe to the idea that the body needs a balanced diet like proteins,
No,
carbohydrates as such?
no,
There is no such belief, like you just eat whatever you like?
no, it's not the same. Like it's not that either. It's not I'm eating that what I like. That's also like if I made a decision. It's how can you say that? It's just happening in a certain way, and there can be anything. I don't care. There's nothing busy with taking care or not taking care or trying to do it in a certain way. That's not there. That's the suffering. That's the suffering that there's a belief or not only a belief, it's more embodied. Like there's a body and it's my body and it's very important that it's healthy or something like that. It's not seen like that here. It's only an apparent body. It seems like it's solid. It isn't. There can be pain, and then they're thinking, oh, I didn't eat the right thing. Well, it's difficult to say what is going on. That's what I started with. That you say like, oh, what is the way you do it? I don't know. It's just happening. Nothing is busy with it, or there's no issues or so. There's not somebody busy with how to deal with anything. It's just happening. And it's not real. So there's nothing trying to change it, trying to manage it. There's just nothing going on. There's also no Roes. There's no Roes. There's no life of Roes. There's just what's happening. You can't make an image of that. You can't hear like some people want to hear like, oh, how does she do it? Then maybe I can do it the same way. Of course not. I'm not. Then there are 20 roses. Everybody's different. Everybody is different. So there are body mind things or DNA. I don't know how it's working. It's just unique. That's the joy. That's every body or every way of doing it's just unique. It's everything, and it's everything. So it's already complete. The way it's done, it's complete. That's life. And that whole thing around, like, oh, this is maybe what shall I do? What is the best way? Or how can I do? That's the dream. And it seems very important. It's just like this. It's nothing. It's a dream. That's the joy. God, it's a dream. It's just, and it's not like, oh, I don't do that anymore. I'm not in that dream anymore. It's just nothing going on about that. That's the easy part. It's just by itself. But it's always like that. But then when there's a whole dream going on, it's like, no, it's not. I'm doing it. Something like that. Maybe that's the only difference. There's no one. There's no responsibility. Wow, that's huge. There's always thinking about guilt or responsibility or empowering or anything like that. And when that's not there, wow, it's not even noticed because it's very normal. Well, wow, that's free. That's just that character is just moving around. It's not really a character because there's no character, of course, but in the story you could say that. It's just like that. And it's already like that also. It's not only here, oh, she's so free, and no, it's already free. It's already free, of course. It's everything. So when there's feeling stressful, then the stress is it. It's life, stressing, or it's just everything. So no need for anything. Mm. Another one. I like the bike analogy, although it can be done something there to make it happen. It seems like that. No, it's not. It's just happening like that. But yeah, it seems like that. Because when there's something suddenly different, like there's on that bike, and then suddenly somebody's saying it, or maybe it's coming like, oh, there's something coming like, oh, it's not that. Then after that, you don't even know why, or you didn't do that. It was just maybe some insight, or there's something coming like, oh, or not an insight. It's just like suddenly like, oh, it's the same. Like, oh, it's different. How is it possible that I could think that when I hold it very tight, that it's going better? It has no influence at all. How could I think that? It's so obvious. That's the same thing. No, me. How could I think that I was doing that? That there was somebody doing. It's so obvious. And how do you know? No, that's the same with that. But how do you know? I can't say how do I know. I don't know. Suddenly it just was there. It was suddenly obvious. I don't know how, or it's just obvious. That's the same thing. Yeah. But when there's a belief, and it's so embodied, it's not even questioned. It's just every experience is confirming that. So it's just like that. No questioning. And then suddenly, I don't know why, suddenly there's questioning by somebody else, or just like that. I don't know why. That's just how it can go. It doesn't need to do it because it's everything. It doesn't need to see it like that there's no me or something like that. It doesn't need like that because it's already everything. So a lot of thoughts going on. What's going on? I can't feel it, like that. Then that's what's happening. That's life happening. It's complete. That's it. That's life. In that way, that's it. Doesn't need to be no me or something like that, or seeing there is an apparent life, or that's how the mind can think sometimes, because it's just what's going on. And if there's a lot of thoughts, like really I see it less solid, it's just solid, then there are thoughts, it's solid, and that's life, like that. That's it. So it's already complete. Can nothing end? There's no end and there's no beginning. Oh God. No. There's no beginning also, of course. There's just this. Beginning and end and time. It's all abstractions about what is. It's just that. That's life. That's it. It's very small, very tiny. It's not as complicated something that you need to understand, or how is that going on? It's just already the moving of the head. That's it. That's everything. That's finish. It's always like that. There is always something going on, like moving or thoughts coming or drinking. So that's it. Don't need to understand. This is not about understanding, but can be looking for answers. Then that's what's happening. So that's complete in that way. Can't be wrong. Of course not. Mm. This urgent desire to dissolve does not come from the person, because there is no person. It just happens. Yeah, it's just the desire. Yeah. It's just, and then there's making names of it or trying to think, oh, what is this desire about, or things like that. Well, that's going on. That's life in that way. It's not from the person. No, of course not. It's yeah, it's a paradox. It's a mystery. You can't get your head around it. It's like, but you can't also say, oh no, I understand. It's just happening. Then you say all the time, oh, it's just happening. No, that's just a concept about living your life in that way. That's something else. So no concern for global warming or economic unfairness in the world, or wear a mask or not wear a mask. Anything can happen. Wearing a mask. Here in Holland, there's something going on about wearing, if you want to go in the shop, then you buy food, you have to wear a mask. So there's wearing a mask. So nothing going on about that. It's nothing going, I don't want that, or something like that. Maybe there can be, I don't know, can be there. No, I don't think so, no. There's nothing, yeah, no, global warming, yeah. Maybe there can be for some people, I don't, yeah, but it's not wrong to be concerned about global warming. When that's going on, that's what life is. So that's it. That's not that you don't have concerns anymore. If that's going on, that's what's happening. So that's it. So this character is not an example for everybody to live. It's just that Roes thing going on. It's not important how Roes does. It's just silly things and doing things, or and I can peep, and another character is really into global warming. Why not? Nothing is wrong. Nothing, and there's nothing going on about that. I think that's something that about being fair or justice or things like that. That's an endless story about trying to be. But when that's there, then that's there. It's not wrong, and that's going on like that. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is. Everything is it. So when there's a lot of things going on about it's not fair, there are a lot of thoughts like that. That's it. That's life, and that's in that way. That's what's happening. So you can't say this is it and this is not it. It's everything. And maybe a rose isn't like that, but so what? Rose is not important. This is not about telling how to live or what is important in life. It's just describing what is seen. So when there are questions about that, you can't say how it is. It's impossible. It's everything. Ah, okay. So there is never any decision taken by any me. In this sense, suicide is also a happening. It's just happening. Yeah. Yeah. Already there. Yeah. There's no decision making by me. Yeah. And if we read the news, the world can seem a cruel place. It's just an illusion. It's a dream. Yeah. An illusion. It's not real. It's a dream. It's just a story. It seems to be very real. You watch television and there's a lot of things going on and there and over there, and the news is saying this, and then you do the television out. There are no other countries, then there's just this. So but it's so convincing that there are other countries, and that what it's seeing, that it's filled in like there's another country and it's going on like that, and you think you know. I was going to New York and I thought, I have a little bit an image of New York. I know a little bit how it's like. I was walking there. It was just what I knew was from movies in a sense. And I thought, I recognize that because I saw that in a movie. It's just walking in the street. No New York. It's just walking in the street. So what is the difference? It seems like, I'm in another country. There's just walking on that street. We're so used to fill in and to make images and the whole thing of story around. It's just this. It's not that it's wrong or that you have to say, I see the news, it's just an illusion. Well, why should you? It's just reading the news and thinking, what's going on over there? And then thinking something else. That's life. It's chaotic. It's everything. Reading news, just sitting, anything. In a meeting, hearing this, and drinking coffee, everything. Oh. Do we need courage in life? There is no you. There's no you. So there can be courage is also something abstract. Just there's no need for anything. It's just what's happening. Can be anything. Can be fear also. And then there's something else. And when there seems to be events, they seem very real. That's also an appearance, of course, but they seem very real, that it's something happening and you're walking in the dark and maybe somebody is coming to you, threatening or anything like that. But everything seems real, and it's just what's happening, and it can be anything. It can be pain or being attacked or just sitting watching television, anything. So nothing has any meaning. It's just what's happening. It's very neutral. That's it. And it can be fear or pain or I don't know, anything. It's just life. You think you are there, then they're starting a whole survival system about the threatening world and relations and anything what can happen and wanting to feel safe and free or loved. But when there's separation, there seems to be something missing. So there's a lot of going on about need and taking care. There's always an agenda then. When there's a me, there's a lot of, most of the time, there's an agenda when there's something going on. It's not wrong, that's just what's happening. Just describing how it's in the story. A me has an agenda, wants to feel safe, wants to be loved, wants to, I don't know what, needs, a lot of needs. So everything is going on about that me, that you self, that everything is, you are the most important person of the world. So it has to go, you want to feel safe or loved or free or anything. So, and when they said there's no me, God, that can be such a relief. Or a threat, like, oh, I will do it. I am in control. This is not about doing. Me and doing is the same. This is not about doing. This is just what's happening. Here. Me needs to be reassured that it exists through relationship and the world that can confirm it. Yeah. Yeah, me wants to be reassured that it exists. It's continually confirming that it's existing and trying to do the right thing, confirming that it can do, it has a free will, it has needs. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. It's very quiet when that's not going on. Nothing needs to confirmed, or nothing needs reassured, or nothing needs anything. No need for anything. It's very quiet. It's just what is happening. It's not that big. Yeah. It can also be sadness. Mm. Nothing going on about healing something, because then subtle it seems that there's something not right, and there's sadness. It can be sadness, and then something else. It's also not about what I want. Oh, I always had something about that. What do you want? When people ask me that, I found it also very difficult to say. Just not practical things, but what do you want in life? Oh my God. I don't know. But it's not about wanting. There's no one. So wanting, it's just in normal speaking, do you want coffee or tea or something like that? That's something is going out like, I want coffee or something. What for the rest, it's not about wanting something. It's just what's happening. But in talking, normal talking, it's just normal talking. You say also I, of course. You say not, oh, there's hunger coming or something. It's just I'm hungry. It's just normal. Yeah. Thank you. I'm normal. I don't know what I want. Oh, so sweet. Yeah. Mm. Ah. Are you a grandmother? In France, it's today they're fed. No, I'm not a grandmother. No. We don't know that in Holland. We know mother fed and for the father, but not for the grandparents. No, sweet. Ah, it's new. Ah, okay. There's so many days. Then it's a day for this, then it's a day for that. Tomorrow the woman. Oh yeah. Okay. What happens after death? There's no death. There's no being alive also. So there's also no death. There's just what's apparently happening. So when there's thinking and there's a belief or an embodied belief, of course, that's I'm alive and I'm here and I exist. So death is really threatening because you're alive and you have to defend your life or taking care or anything. So death is then the loss of someone or something like that. It's the funny thing is, it's just there are also no relations. So there's nobody. So when there's a child or a husband and he's dying, then it was already not there. So then there's no death. It's just not happening. It's not, you can't say it's not happening, but it's just, then there's just this, something else. We are so attached to some things that you think he will give me love. That's how I feel connected. Then we feel together, or the missing of being one, then maybe in a relationship that seems to be some fulfilling of that. There's no death. It's only in the story. It's also about the death of me. Then it's talking about that then there's everything is lost. This is just about death, but it's death of that whole, can be death in that the body doesn't move anymore, like that. Or death in the sense of that the dream isn't there, but then the dream isn't there, that already wasn't real, so nothing did happen. So we're talking about death of the me, but in fact, nothing is dying, of course. Just the body isn't moving. We call that death, and that's it. There's no afterlife of after death, something that's, we want continuation. So then the mind is trying to make images of that after that there will be something.
About the death of a person, it's nothing happening, but something that happens when a body dies, the spirit disappears.
Yeah, the body dies, but there was no one in it. So the body dies, of course, and it isn't there anymore. So that's can happen. That happens, yeah. But there was no one inside. And the grief is about someone inside that isn't there anymore most of the time. that's not dying. It's just death. Of course, in the normal story, then somebody dies and the body doesn't move anymore, or it's buried something. But when we're talking about this, everything is apparent. So the body is not real. It's just not happening. So there's happening something else. It's happening. Yeah. How can you say this? There's no death. There's no life. It's nothing is real. And we are so into everything is real. So we're losing a person or losing somebody, or the body doesn't move anymore, and then it's buried and it's not there. What is not, then we think when I'm sitting here and my children are in their room, they're still there. No, they're not. There are no children. There's just this. That's strange for a lot of people. It's like, yeah. And it's, of course, and it's the funny thing is when I have a daughter, and then when she comes into the room, then it's like, oh, hello, and then there's the name. So that's just arising. So it's very normal, of course. But and when there's no daughter coming, or then there's only this. There's only kitchen. Something like that. Can you say it? Yeah.
And there is
But
no,
it's very normal. Yeah.
and there is no real change in the appearance. And
No.
because it's
No.
not,
There's always change. And there's kitchen, or there's outside, or there's walling, or something else. That's the change. But
it makes no difference really. What is appearing, and what is not.
something else is this. Then something else is appearing. Yeah. There's a difference in the sense that it's different, but in meaning or importance,
Yeah.
then there's no difference. Yeah, that's strange. Something seems to be more important than other things, or it can be like there can be a preference, like wanting to be with someone and somebody else I don't like, something like that. That can happen, of course. It can be a preference. I don't know if it's happening, so I can say I don't want to see that person again, and next day there's just a meeting. I don't know. Can be like that. It's not that there's no control. I can say anything, of course, about what wanting this or not wanting this. It's like everybody, but it's very obvious that it's not me deciding. It's just life. Yeah.
And then life is always a surprise.
Yeah. 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 And you can think, oh, I really want to do that, and then it's not happening. When there's a lot of investment, then there's a disappointment. That's not so. The investment is not so much there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's happening. It's the funny thing is when there's nothing going on about this is better than that or wanting to change anything, then there can be pain or feeling like that. But it's in the same time, it's just unconditional love that can't be explained. It's everything is just unconditional love. And when there's feeling like, oh, it's also unconditional love, or there's something, now maybe you could say joy, but that's, yeah, something like that. But it's strange because that's that when there's an awful feeling, it's still awful. But when there's nothing trying to change it, it's just that. It's just that. Then there's something else. That's very strange. That's you can't. That's it's also I can't say it. It's wanting to I want to express it and I can't say how it is because it's so how can you say that? It's touching. It's just also pain. It's just unconditional love. It's just that's and it's really pain. It's even maybe more than ever than before that. When all that things from the me is going on, but it's pain and it's not pain and it's unconditional love. It's God, it's amazing. But it's not all the time like, oh, it's amazing. But in a subtle way, it's unconditional love. It's just free. It's Oh God. I'm struggling with the fact that there's no continuity. Yeah. No, there is just this. There's just this. There's nothing solid. There's just this. And this is just a feeling or moving the hands. And the funny thing is when there's nothing going on about trying to explain it or wanting something and it's just that hand. God, wow. Not because it's my hand, but it's just what? It's just, and that's not all the time like you walk around like, oh wow, that's too much. But it's just sometimes it's just the very subtle, it's very normal. So it's not a state of that or special things. It can be just a glass. And it's just touching. Oh, it's awful. You can't say it. It's everything is unconditional love. Everything. It's just that body. It's not only here. It's everywhere. It's when there's walking outside, then that's everything. That's unconditional love. Being a streeting. It's always unconditional love. It's always complete. When there's a body like the body, and then there's looking to that, that's unconditional love. Buddying. It's just love. Everything is love. Life, love. It just is. So it's complete. It's already complete. This is paradise. It's just everything. It's feeling hungry. It's moving hands. It's walking. It's thinking. I'm not good enough. That's unconditional love. Thank you. Thank you.